I don't know if there's going to be a toga rave scene if there's no sexual jealousy in these books. Welcome back to Levity Books. It's March 19th, 2022, and in 2 days' time, a play I'm very excited about is starting in London called The Burnt City. Because I'm obsessed, I went ahead and read the 4 source texts, which they revealed were the basis for the play. And in this video, I want to save you all time, quickly give you a rundown on what happens in these books so that we can get some predictions for what's going to happen in the play, so we can appreciate what we see in the play, because Punchdrunk productions are very hard to understand when you're there, and if you get some idea of where you're going, you'll know how to make the most of your experience. I have tickets to the previews in a week's time, so I'll be seeing it on the first Saturday. I'll be making a reaction video and be following up on how wrong I was with my predictions made in this video based on the source text. So subscribe so that you could find those videos, and it'll be interesting to see how wrong I am. And also, if you see these plays or you have any thoughts, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to talk to people who really love Punchdrunk. So if you don't know already, Punchdrunk make interactive, immersive theatre experiences where the audience wear masks and walk around the set and the actors as things are going on. They had The Drowned Man in London 10 years ago, which I absolutely loved. I saw it twice. I worked front of house for a bit. That was my 21st birthday. And Sleep No More in New York City is still running, and it's fantastic. It's also in Shanghai. The Burnt City is based on 4 books, and they are Hecuba by Euripides. That's a play. The Orestia by Aeschylus. There are 3 plays here. I only read the first. I think that's what's important. Metropolis by Thea von Arbo. Might not be saying that right. And finally, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. I'll start basic and then go more advanced with these. The first thing we need to talk about is genre. So we have 2 Greek plays here, and we have 2 science fiction books. The plays will describe the choreography of the Burnt City, and the science fiction will describe the setting and the ambience of the Burnt City. The second thing we need to talk about is subgenre. So the plays, these are Greek tragedies about murder, so very fitting for Punchdrunk. There's always normally a murder at the end of the whole series of events. So this will describe the choreography of the play and how the actors are involved. Whereas the science fiction, these are both about robots. So I think the fact that this is taking place in a factory, this could mean something like there's a big Trojan horse in the play that's like a robot horse, and how people feel about the robot horse will relate to these. And there could also be some crazy anachronistic scientists, some old science, which is like the religion elements we normally see in Punchdrunk plays of witches. What we might have here is science, or alternative science, which is the spooky part of the play. So on the third level now, we need to talk about the narratives of these books. One thing I would say is there's no sexual jealousy really in any of these books. Sexual jealousy doesn't motivate any of the murder or action in these books, which is surprising because based on The Drowned Man or Sleep No More, that's normally the trigger or the motivation for the crimes or the mistakes in the story. So it's going to be maybe a bit different in that respect. When we compare this with The Drowned Man, which is based on Wojciech and The Day of the Locusts, there is sexual jealousy in those texts. In The Drowned Man, Wojciech is about a man who finds out his wife is cheating on him, and then he goes and murders them, and that is basically what the plot was. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't really know what's going to motivate the murders in these plays. I don't know if there's going to be a toga rave scene if there's no sexual jealousy in these books. A more important thing to know about the narratives is that they are linked. So there's a clear linkage between these stories, which I'm going to give you a quick need-to-know background on. In Hecuba, we have a mother, Hecuba, who avenges the murder of her children by murdering the culprit's children. We also have the leader of the Greek army, Agamemnon, who allows this avenging to happen. In the final scene, the culprit prophesies that both Hecuba and Agamemnon will be murdered soon. Now this is important because Agamemnon in this story is also Agamemnon in this story in the first play, Agamemnon. And what happens in there is Agamemnon is murdered by his wife because Agamemnon sacrificed his daughter so that the Greek army would win the Trojan War. And this is the way that Agamemnon is meant to die in this play. So these two plays are kind of linked. We have a Greek general who allows a mother to avenge the death of her children, who then ends up dying because he sacrificed his daughter because his wife killed him. So it's a bit complicated, it's not fully causal, but there's a direct connection between the same person in Greek history and these two plays. So what I predict from these two Greek plays is that the two characters that will die at the end of the play will be a mother who avenges her children and a disgraced hero of some kind. So it'll be a mother and a hero that I think will be the main characters that die. And also this will be a play where women are the ones that are doing the killing. I think women are going to be the main killers in this story, which will be interesting given the context of Greek soldiers being everywhere. The points of dramatic tension, therefore, will be what was the first sacrifice that was made? What was Agamemnon's sacrifice of his daughter? What's the equivalent in this play which triggers him to be taken? Or what was the trigger for someone's children to be killed? That we'll see how that works in the play. In Hecuba, her children are killed as sacrifices for war, and also they're being robbed for gold. So it's being robbed for gold or war sacrifices which seem to trigger the cascade of violence which we might see in this play. How the Burnt City might relate to science fiction is less clear, but I got some hunches, and we'll start with Metropolis. My main hunch about Metropolis is that they're going to take from the film, not so much from the book. This is a very important film because they made a very expensive set which was based on a factory where all the workers are slaves to machines, and we just have people who are just attached to working at machines day in, day out. And I think we're going to see a similar setting in the Burnt City. Being a factory environment, I think that's where this is going to come in. The Trojan War setting of the Burnt City might also relate to Metropolis because there's a character in here called Hel, who might be a reference to Helen of Troy, as a revolution is fought over her in this book too. In Metropolis, the villain creates a robot version of Hel, who creates anarchy and prevents the hero from trying to save her. And so I think in the Burnt City, what we might have is some form of spy or copycat of the heroine of the story. Someone might imitate the heroine either by wearing a disguise or creating a robot of some kind or some artificial form, and that artificial form is going to inspire evil and murder, and that's going to be the downfall of the play. So that could be another angle for Metropolis, that there's some duplicity about the heroine being duplicated and then throwing the hero off the track. In a similar way, that would relate to Blade Runner or Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, because in this story we also have a fake female muse who is throwing off the main character from their story. We have a robot who seduces the main character who tries to stop him doing his task, and I think that might just be something that comes out in this play. In this book, we have a contract killer of androids who are kind of sneaking in to the Earth, and we might have an equivalent here of Trojans sneaking into Greek armies, or Greeks sneaking into the Trojan army through the Trojan horse maybe. In a way, there might be some detective trying to figure out who the fake Helen of Troy is, like we have this contract killer here trying to figure out who the robots are on the planet. The crimes in this book are also motivated by status symbols and money, which is similar to why Hecuba's son died. So I think money, bribery, could be the way that characters are corrupted in this play, more so than sexual jealousy in previous Punchdrunk productions. So I think the role of money and corruption will be more pertinent here. So from all of this, I think that there's going to be two women, a mother and a muse, who lead to a lot of murder. They'll probably kill two men in this place, and maybe the final death of each one would be the equivalent of Agamemnon and Hecuba. but that's not before the main woman and the plays have led to quite a bit of destruction. It's going to be a bloodbath, basically. The men will suffer, more so perhaps in these tragedies. If you wanted to read these books, here is what I would recommend. I would recommend you read Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep first. It's the most accessible, most exciting, although from what I've said, it's probably the least related to the play. But this one is definitely, if you're not a big reader, this is definitely the one you should choose over the others. If you're a little well versed at plays, or you want to learn the dynamics of the plays, Hecuba is also quite good. It's very short play. There's not too much to dig into with Hecuba, but if you just want to understand what might inspire the murders of the play, Hecuba is a great shout. Metropolis, I wouldn't recommend. This is a novelization of the script, and it doesn't read very well, doesn't translate very well. You can find the film of Metropolis on YouTube. If you see a few scenes of that, it'd be much more important than actually reading this, because I think it's the set that they're going to take from Metropolis, and the film is extravagant, the book is lackluster and badly translated. Finally, I wouldn't go near Aeschylus unless you've had some training in Greek history or you're very well versed with plays, because it's tricky, it's hard to read, it's quite long, and that's the reason why I stopped after Agamemnon, because I think that's the amount that I need. I think the play is going to not go beyond that point, and I didn't want to go beyond that point, frankly. So that's about it. Let me know your thoughts about these books, or how you take the experience, or how wrong I am when we actually see this had nothing to do with all that. There are a lot of things that the books don't explain. For example, it doesn't explain what this badge is, so I got the badge. And I think from production materials, I think this is representing a garden maze, which is the first thing I thought when I saw it up close, because if you look very closely, there is a way to get round the cube from the opening at the top, which is the way it was presented. It was presented in this orientation. And there's also 4 symbols there that I don't know what they mean. They might mean tribes or something. These symbols are going to be quite important, I imagine, for like locations, maybe, in the set. I don't know why it's set across 2 buildings apparently, and there might be an outdoors bit. I think they might burn something outside. The burnt city, they might actually burn something, which is why they need the outside space. I'm wondering if there's going to be a massive Trojan horse. I would really love to see that. They do like horses. So yeah, I'm not really sure exactly how the set will be, and I do wonder whether they're going to have Greek gods in it, or whether they're going to use science as the paranormal element, or whether they'll have like witches in possession like they normally do in these plays. I don't know. I think it's going to be very different. Anyway, that's it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you can see my reaction videos. I'll try give a lowdown of what I experienced, and together we can try to piece together what the heck we saw in the next few weeks. Because I'm going to the previews, I might see things that don't actually make it into the final show, so it might be quite interesting to just get that all down on camera and see how it goes. Anyways, thanks for watching, and have a great time. See ya.